In Part 3 of the Sportswear Online implementation training, we will demonstrate the use and customization of pick lists. From the athletic training room to the sidelines, we understand that rapid, accurate documentation is essential to our clients. This is why, for quick and easy access, a significant amount of information may be entered into sportswear through customizable drop-downs called pick lists. Here, I will demonstrate how rapidly I can document general information on a sample athlete's ankle sprain. Many of these pick lists have been pre-populated with common information, like the body areas and body parts listed in this description section. However, some lists require customization, like the name of the athletic trainer at your school documenting this injury. These pick lists can either be scrolled through or filled in with smart predictive typing. The purpose of this video is to lead you through the customization of these pick lists, not to demonstrate how to add injuries in sportswear. To learn how to get the most out of your sportswear subscription, please contact your sales representative to schedule a screen sharing training session after you have finished this video. As always, you can access your Sportswear Online account by going to www.swol123.net and logging in. The pick lists in Sportswear come pre-populated with standard information, but users with edit pick list rights can add, edit, or delete options, allowing the customization of these lists to best suit your school's needs. As discussed in Part 1 of this series, to grant pick list edit rights, go to Admin, then Users, select the desired user, then click the Edit button. Next, go to the Program Functions tab and select Yes to edit pick lists. As with all administrative changes, you must both save and log out of the system for these changes to take effect. While it may be useful to grant multiple users this right, only one user can edit pick lists at a time, or the changes will not be saved. These users should also come to a consensus on how they like information to appear in sportswear. To edit pick lists from the main drop-down menu, select Pick Lists. The options you see under pick lists may vary depending on your database edit rights and which, if any, add-ons your school has chosen to purchase. First, we will show you how to set up your multi-level pick lists. From here, almost all drop-down menus you will encounter in the different sportswear databases can be customized. Please take some time to familiarize yourself with the different pick list options. Not every pick list will be reviewed in this video, but a few key ones that often benefit from customization will be discussed. Alert. Alert is anything you would want to know about an athlete in an emergency situation. It is one of the few fields that allows users or athletes and parents to free type answers, so you do not need to create an exhaustive list of all possible alerts. However, entering common alerts is helpful as it guides athletes or parents as to what type of information should be included in this section. ATC. ATC should be populated with the names of all users who will be documenting in sportswear. A maximum of 20 characters are allowed, so we recommend entering names as last name, comma, first initial. Body area. Body area is where you will go to modify or add a specific site with respect to injuries. These are cascading pick lists. Levels 1 and 2 define the body area and body part respectively. Level 3 is where the injury appears, and Level 4 is the site or ligament if relevant. For example, to add a coronavirus infection, under Level 1, select General Medical. 2, select Infectious Disease, and finally Level 3, enter Coronavirus. Customizing injuries under Body Area is the only two-part process for pick list customization in sportswear. Once you have updated the Body Area pick list, click the Save button. Then, the changes will need to be imported into the injury database. From the dashboard, go to the drop-down menu, select Pick Lists, and select Injury Diagnosis Codes. At the bottom of the page, click the Re-import Multi button. This imports the pick list changes into the injury database. Multiple changes can be made to the body area pick list at once. However, no changes will be visible in the injury database until after the reimport multifunction has been run. Again, this two-part process is only required when updating the body area pick list into your injury database. Grad class. There are two ways to track grad class in sportswear, either by expected year of graduation or by class level. We recommend tracking grad class by expected year of graduation as it makes your end of year functions much easier. Group. In sportswear, the group section is used to broadly define groups of students. Typically, groups are used by school district accounts to separate athletes between the different schools in the district, or boarding schools to classify boarding or day students. In a single school, there should be a group with your school's name for all athletes. It confirms the athlete or parent is joining the correct institution. If you plan on using sportswear to track COVID daily screenings in staff, you should also create a staff group to separate staff from athletes. Staff will have to create their own athlete accounts to respond to the COVID-19 symptom survey in sportswear. If your school keeps documents on visiting athletes, you should also create a visiting group. This ensures when you run injury reports, you can separate those sustained by visiting athletes from those sustained by your own students. Service. Service contains a list of the type of services you most regularly refer athletes out for. Items may include urgent care, ortho, dental, vision, chiropractic, physical therapy, and general medicine. This list may vary based on the level of contact in sports played at your school. Sport. Sportswear comes pre-populated with an extensive list of sports, but, like the other pick list items, may be customized to better fit your school's needs. For example, here soccer does not have a gender attached. The existing soccer entry can be assigned to the men's team, and a new entry may be added for the women's team. For sports with different positions, these positions are not tracked at the athlete level, but you may enter the position they were playing when an athlete is injured. This allows for more informative reporting on which positions see higher incidence of injury. Once you have completed your pick list updates, be sure to click the Save button to save your changes. This concludes the section on multi-level pick lists we will go over in this implementation training. Next, we will discuss some other pick lists your school may customize. Again, entering this information through sportswear allows this data to be mineable, starting with which, if any, immunizations your school is interested in tracking in sportswear. From the Athlete Immunization Picklist Editor, you may enter, edit, or delete the names of various immunizations your school is interested in tracking in its athletes. Sportswear allows for the easy tracking of the date of athlete immunizations under the medical portion of the athlete database. Paperwork. The Athlete Paperwork Picklist Editor is where you can select which hard copy paperwork has been received by the school and the date of receipt. The approval date may be applied by the athletic trainer under the Paperwork section of the athlete database. Status value. The Athlete Status Value Picklist Editor is where options for an athlete's play status may be entered. The Status Value Picklist comes pre-populated with full go, limited, and out. However, it can be modified to list your school's preferred terminology. This field is useful for athletic trainers to communicate with coaches on the play status of the athletes. Users may enter the athlete's play status through either the athlete or status databases. The History Questions Picklist Editor is where users can customize which medical history questions appear under the Medical History tab of the athlete database. The advantage to tracking medical history information here instead of hard copy forms or fillable PDFs is that here the data is mineable. Athletes' medical history can be manually entered by an athletic trainer or user with edit rights for the athlete and history databases, or entered by the athletes or their parents themselves through the athlete portal. Treatment modalities. The treatment modalities pick list editor is where the users add or modify how treatments appear in the treatment database. You will notice some of the items will default to checked or unchecked under unit-based. This must be uniform across the list, and most athletic trainers prefer non-unit based so they don't have to put a unit count for each treatment. You can run reports on this information at the end of the year to determine the dollar amount of the services athletic trainers provided at your school. The Injury Diagnosis Codes pick list is where the injuries from the body area multi-level pick lists are housed. Editing this information from the body area pick list is more intuitive. As discussed earlier, once injury information has been changed in the body area multi-level pick list, the Reimport Multi button must be clicked here to update the pick list into the injury database. The Exercise Pick List Editor allows users to add or modify prescribed exercises within the extensively pre-populated exercise database. The exercise database is an add-on which allows athletic trainers to prescribe rehabilitating or strengthening exercises to athletes either in person or remotely. The exercise database is an add-on feature and not included as part of a sportswear license. Procedures. The Procedures Pick List Editor is where surgical procedures may be updated. If an athlete is referred out for a surgical procedure that is not already listed in the surgery database, it may be added here. Sign out. The Sign Out Pick List Editor is where you will list the types of equipment regularly signed out to athletes that your school wants back. We recommend attaching a cost to items to incentivize your athletes to return them. Items entered in the Sign Out Pick List will appear in the Sign Out database. Physical questions. The Physical Questions Pick List Editor is where the questions that appear in the physical database may be updated to reflect the physical forms required by your school. Not only may items be added or deleted, but the order in which they appear may also be changed. SAT questions. The SAT Question Pick List Editor is where the words and numbers included in your Sport Concussion Assessment Tool, SCAT-3, SCAT-5, and Standard Assessment can be added or edited. SOAP Evaluations. The SOAP Evaluations Pick List Editor is where special tests assigned to specific injured body areas are housed. Entries from these tests can be scored positive or negative with comments and populated into SOAP Notes section of an injury. New tests can be added to this pick list as needed. Finally, AutoType. The AutoType Pick List Editor allows users to create custom shorthand codes in sportswear. Once these abbreviations and associated text have been entered into the AutoType Pick List Editor, when the abbreviation is typed, then the Enter key is pressed, the longhand text will be imported in the shorthand's place. Here, range of motion and an electronic signature have been demonstrated. This function is not limited to a few words, but capable of handling substantial amounts of text. This concludes the third and final section of the Sportswear Online implementation training for high schools. You should now be able to update the pick lists in your Sportswear Online account to match the needs of your school. Once you have completed watching these 3 implementation videos and made the relevant updates to your user rights, database access, and pick lists to prepare your school's account, please contact your sales representative to schedule your complimentary training. During this training, you will learn how to use sportswear via a screen sharing session. We look forward to working with you.